You were one of my first athletes of the week, and I remember you just lit up talking about coming to Missouri State and wanting to be the next Jake Berger. 3 years have gone by so fast. Like, how will you reflect on all that?
Oh yeah, it's been a crazy 3 years. Definitely one that I'm very I guess grateful for. I'm very blessed to have called this place home for 3 years, and I can't talk nothing more but great about the place, honestly.
Now, what has the last year been like? Because last time we talked, you were getting ready for the draft and that whole process. Like, for those of us who really just have no idea what that's like, can you talk about what that was like and then what what the rest of your year was like?
Obviously, from the 2 years before, obviously a little tougher year this year. Definitely handled a lot of adversity that went my way. Obviously, never anything goes to plan, what you think in the baseball world. So that's kind of what happened. But it happened, and honestly, I think I'm in the best place for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably just referring to the numbers, right? Weren't exactly where you wanted to be. You know, that's baseball, though, right? Or was there other reasons? You talk about the adversity. Was there other things that came into play that made it more difficult this season?
Yeah, I mean, struggling there at first, and I don't know what I was hitting, but it was pretty bad. I mean, it was tough. Then finally having a talk with one of our guys that I talked, kind of got out of it after that. Just kind of gave myself the freedom, pressing at the first, and then just kind of give myself the freedom to go out there and play my game.
Do you think part of that too is like you go through the draft process and correct me if I'm wrong, but what happens is you get to that certain point where you're like, listen, I'm going to go back to college, and that's why they don't pick you, right? I mean, that's kind of, there's a certain point, there's a threshold, right? And so for you, you're saying, I am going to prove that you were all wrong. And did you come out thinking like that? Is that part of what happens?
Definitely part of that was the reason. I came out there thinking, I'm just going to prove everybody wrong and just not playing my game, not giving myself the freedom or anything. And basically doing that led me to press, and then, obviously didn't have the year I wanted. But right now, going into the next year, I mean, I think I've learned a lot from this past year, and it'll help me a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's so many stories of transfers going to Arkansas and really blossoming, becoming that kind of draft prospect that they always have the potential to be. You obviously fit the bill of somebody who could really do that in a fourth year. What excites you the most about this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, great opportunity going down there. I get to visit with the guys, and they seem great. Going to give me a real opportunity. And honestly, I mean, you're going to play the best of the best of college baseball. And that at the end of the day, you go perform there, you can perform, in minor league baseball. So that was kind of my end goal, to go play pro ball, go make a name for myself there. So I think that gives me the best shot.
So, yeah, like, what has Coach Van Horn told you about your role, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so right now I think they told me they're looking at me to be, the everyday right fielder. Obviously, it's not guaranteed or anything. I had to go earn it, like any other place. So I'm just going to go out there, do my thing, give myself the freedom to play, and kind of just go out there and have fun.
How do you think a little change of scenery is going to help you?
I think it'll help me a lot. Different place, it'll get me a little uncomfortable, whereas, the last 2 years I've been pretty comfortable, being here for 3 years. So I'll be so uncomfortable that, I got so many good guys around me that I got to go out there and work hard, and basically, not that I haven't worked hard, but I got to push myself to a whole nother level.
You hear people talk about sometimes like in pro sports, they'll talk about, oh, so and so wants to go home and play, in their hometown, that sort of thing. And then you hear some people say, like, actually, it's a little easier to do the business side of things. You're not so close to family, you're not so close to friends, and you just focus on your business. And not that you don't want to be around them, but there are some things that can be helpful about being away from where you're from, so you're doing something different. Do you feel like this is maybe something like that?
Not really, honestly. I really love my family. I talk to them every day. I mean, my mom, my dad, and then everybody around there. I mean, back at the farm, of course. I really enjoy being back home and seeing them. So I think it was a big decision for me because it was so close to home. It's, just 2 hours down the road from here and 3 hours away from home. So I'm really thankful to be that close and they can come watch games.
That's a great point. I mean, obviously you're not going too far away. Does this feel a little bit more like the best of both worlds, I guess, from that standpoint?
Honestly, yes. I mean, I'm so close to home that they can come watch me and watch me play about every weekend that we're home. And I think it's just a good opportunity to be that close.
So Okay, so what are the things that you're most looking forward to improving over there and working on and getting better here in this fourth year?
Yeah, so I'm just looking for some new perspectives on hitting. I want to put the ball in play more. Just want to grow the contact. I know the power's always been there, but get faster, stronger, put the ball in play more. Just kind of those things I think will really excel me in my game.
You homered there this year.
I did. That was definitely one of my best moments that I've ever had.
I know there's certain processes of how that transfer portal works, stuff like that. Did you ever start thinking after something like that, like this is a cool place to play, I feel comfortable here, and kind of put it on your list in that moment?
I mean, not really. I wasn't thinking about that in the moment. Never was. When you're in the moment and you're playing in that kind of atmosphere, you always know it's fun. It's a good time to play in those atmospheres. Those big crowds, chirping you and everything. Those are good crowds to be around, and that honestly was a big decision for me because I feel like having a crowd around me helps me a little bit. Kind of gives me a little chip on my shoulder.
How excited are you to just be around? I mean, you're around major league prospects here, but obviously in Arkansas they just went to the World Series, and they've got guys. It just seems like every year we just read all this list of Arkansas guys who are going in the first round, second round, things like that. You're around so many guys like that, and that's just got to be such an interesting perspective to have other people who have gone through what you've gone through, that many of them, I guess.
Yeah.
What's that like?
I think it'll be really good. Like I said earlier, I think it'll make me feel, uncomfortable in a way, but not like too uncomfortable. It's just an uncomfortable way to make me work harder and basically push myself to be around those guys, and I think that'll help me a ton.
Yeah, so you talk to your family and everything about getting down there, and like, are they just going to be at every game no matter what?
I don't know about every game, but they're going to try and make most of them, I guarantee it. They're always there supporting me, and I couldn't be more thankful for that.
I just remember the Wilmsmeyers, like, talking to them about it. I'm pretty sure they went to like every game, but they're a little closer. That extra hour, like, that can probably make it a little tough on certain situations. Like, if you got a Tuesday game or something like that, and getting off work trying to get down there, that extra hour might get in the way, right? Like, you guys probably talked about all this, huh?
Oh yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to make some midweeks, 6:30 games with work and everything they got, but I'm sure on the weekends they'll be at a couple games.
Can you just give us a little perspective of what it's like to go through this process? Because I'm sure, for most of us, we don't really know what it's like. Like, okay, you were here for 3 years, and then you've got this one last year, and you probably thought through, like, how do I want to use that? You know what I mean? What were some of the things that were most important to you? Yeah,
so basically every conversation I had with the college coach this year, I said, I want to have a real opportunity to play, of course, and then I want to go win. Like, I think those were the two biggest things. And then obviously, when Arkansas called and I got to visit and talk to him for a few times, that seemed like the place.
And just, their expectation is College World Series every year. Doesn't mean it always happens, obviously. They went a few years before this, but, like, that's got to get your juices flowing, huh?
Oh yeah, it gets your juices flowing. Their end goal. I think every team's end goal is obviously Omaha. That is, but their expectation is a little, I guess, higher. I would say they always set the bar pretty high and usually exceed.
Anything I didn't ask you about all this, like that you want to add here?
I don't think so. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad.
Good stuff. Hey, Zach, congrats, man. That's awesome.